A serpent-like tongue sinks its venomous fangs into the pregnant woman's belly. She writhes in agony. Astonishingly, the creature grows bolder, skittering up the walls, heading for the ceiling. Once again, its elongated tongue darts forth, piercing her abdomen, and an instant symphony of screams echoes through the neighborhood. Neighbor bursts through the door, prompting the creature to flee in haste. Panic-stricken, they dial for rescue, urgently summoning law enforcement. Medical examination reveals the chilling truth. A fraction of the woman's amniotic fluid has been drained. Her husband dials his brother's number, his anger morphing into something monstrous. His brother answers, disclosing their mother's visit. The very monster that attacked his wife is none other than their own mother. His mother surrender his child, or she will perish within a week. Yet, instead of acquiescing, he presents his mother with a return ticket. Her rage transforms her into a creature, and the ticket is torn asunder. Under cover of night, she invades their home, shedding her human form for a monstrous visage, a baby-devouring fiend. A stroke of luck intervenes as the police arrive in the nick of time. The hot girl fainted on the bed. The man took a cautious sniff and then lifted his head. His face was inexplicably transformed into a hard, shell-like substance. He bent down, aiming at the woman's face. The gallbladder on his cheek slowly pulsated as if it were absorbing something. A day later, the man woke up her. She had no sensation of anything that had happened, and there were no wounds on her face. When the girl returned home, she discovered a small wrinkle on her face. She opened a cabinet, intending to apply some cream, but in that instant, her face aged by several decades. The girl was terrified and rushed back to her room to call her best friend. She realized her arm is rapidly aging too. She touched her mouth with her hand. A front tooth fell out. Terrified, she threw away the tooth, took a few steps, only collapsing on the ground. She struggled to crawl toward her phone, but this short distance became her final despair. The girl came back, only to finding an unknown and hot lady lying on the ground. FBI arrived immediately. They checked the body and found there weren't any wounds. It appeared as though she had died of natural causes. At the same time, the girl noticed that her roommate's car and phone were at home, but she was nowhere to be found, and the hot lady was wearing her roommate's clothes and jewelry. FBI asked his colleague to collect the hot lady's fingerprints. Surprisingly, the fingerprints matched those of the missing girl. Why the young girl would become an old lady and died at home without any wounds? The hot lady had a desire to turn back the clock on aging. The doctor assured her that with enough money, her dream could become a reality. He proceeded by applying a black yogurt-like substance to her face, fitting her with a white glass, and switching on a UV lamp. The substance on her face swiftly dissolved and was absorbed. After some time, the doctor handed her a mirror. The hot lady was left in all her wrinkles had vanished, making her appear as though she had regained 800 years of youth. The doctor took pride in his work, sporting an intrigued smile. It turned out this special yogurt was something he had acquired at a hefty price from another individual, and simply applying it to the face could magically turn back the hands of time. A creature inserted its proboscis into the man's face. The gallbladder on his cheek pulsated slowly, seemingly extracting something. The gallbladder grew larger and larger until it reached its limit. The creature released its grip, got up, and shook its head in satisfaction. It then approached the table and spat a mouthful of yogurt into a bowl. This was a false insect-like creature disguised as a photographer. It often lured young people under the pretext of taking free photos, starting with a few photo shoots, then drugging them, and finally extracting the essence from their bodies. On the other side, the FBI was investigating the case and had uncovered the two individuals' secret. They burst in. As the photographer realized his plan was foiled, he revealed his true form and engaged in a scuffle with several people.
Don't move! What am I gonna do now?
The doctor blamed him for smashing the bottle, which unexpectedly killed the evil creature. He asked the others how many years younger they had become, and then his face slowly began to change shape. This man can transform into an octopus, stealing the memories of others. This time, his target is a missile expert. The expert possesses crucial memories regarding missile information, which could easily fetch the octopus a fortune. In a matter of seconds, the octopus effortlessly absorbs all the targeted memories. As he picks up his phone to leave, unexpectedly, he encounters the expert's wife. She is astonished to see the octopus creature, and rushes towards her husband on the ground. To conceal his identity, the octopus grabs a brick and fatally strikes the woman. Without further thought, he grabs the car keys, drives off, leaving swiftly to evade exposure. From the earth emerged a head, followed by a 3-meter-tall mud creature slowly rising, engulfing the man before it. Just last night, the man had gotten drunk and unleashed his fury, slapping his wife to the ground, with his son stepping forward to protect her. In a monstrous transformation, the man's appearance sent his son fleeing in fear. In her anger, the woman picked up an iron rod and struck her husband down, fleeing with her son in a desperate bid for escape, eventually taking refuge in a hospital. Her brother arrived at the hospital, his heart heavy with sorrow and a determination for vengeance. He retrieved a ceramic jar, scooped a handful of soil from it, tightly clutched it in his palm, and began chanting an incantation, summoning an ancient guardian spirit to protect his family's well-being. Meanwhile, the drunken man awoke, suddenly finding his feet ensnared in quicksand. The quagmire continued to surge and transform into a towering 3-meter-tall giant, enveloping the man in its embrace. The baby in this woman's belly seems almost like magic. Adeline is a witch stripped of her powers. The child within her holds the priceless royal bloodline. The old witch seeks to profit greatly from this unborn child. They seek out the gypsy queen, seeking insight into the unborn child's value. The queen unveils an 800-meter-long syringe, intent on testing the authenticity of the child's umbilical blood. Adeline, however, fears they aim to harm her. Soon after, the test results emerge. Adeline carries a legitimate heir to the royal bloodline. The queen appraises a boy at $100 million, while a girl is valued at $200 million. Adeline contemplates trading her child for power, yet the old witch remains fixated on monetary gain. If it were you, would you trade your child for something else? This is a hermaphroditic flatworm monster, capable of switching genders at will. On this fateful day, it took the form of a beautiful woman and ventured into a bar in search of prey. Quickly succeeding, 2 individuals ended up in a hotel room. The woman expressed the need to take a shower, and William eagerly began undressing. Suddenly, a man burst into the room, claiming to be the woman's husband. William, terrified, handed over money as compensation and made a hasty exit. As the woman emerged from the bathroom, she hurriedly prepared to leave. Coincidentally, she encountered William, who hadn't gone far. Realizing she had been duped and wanted a refund, she tried to break free but found herself tightly held by the man. With a seductive twist of her slender waist, the woman transformed into the flatworm monster and seized the man, smearing an unidentified, sticky substance secreted from her head onto his face. A 71-year-old hot girl was frozen into an ice sculpture in a room with a temperature of only 22 degrees Celsius. Just moments ago, the hot girl was talking to her daughter when suddenly there was a knock at the door. She went to check and found a stranger trembling with cold, and frost had formed on the glass from his breath. The kind-hearted mother wanted to offer help, but her daughter, upon learning of the situation, sternly advised her not to open the door. However, the man instantly flew into a rage upon hearing this. The mother thought he had left, but to her surprise, the man suddenly kicked open the back door.
Mom, I'm calling 911. Mom, are you there? Mom, can you hear me? Mom, answer me!
10 years later, the FBI finally arrived. They examined the body and questioned the daughter. In a forest, they found the murderer.